Most people think privacy is only for criminals. Those people are wrong. And the fact that so many people in crypto are still arguing about this tells me something important. We've lost sight of who the real enemy is. It's not Ethereum versus PulseChain. It's not tribal warfare. It's us versus the surveillance state. It always has been. You're mad at the influencers. You should be mad at Palantir. Okay? So by the end of this video, you're going to learn exactly how to take your power back and learn this brand new tech, this ZK privacy tech on PulseChain. And more importantly, why privacy is not optional anymore if you care about your money, your self-sovereignty, and your safety. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. The Samurai wallet developers were sentenced to 5 years in prison. Check out this article. They took the website down, seized it. 5 years for building software. The developers behind Tornado Cash on Ethereum, Roman Storm, they're on trial. The case is inconclusive. But should they be punished for writing code? Privacy is normal. Privacy is a human right. And in a few minutes, I'm going to show you 3 mistakes that people make that completely destroy your privacy, even if you use tools like the one I'm about to show you, because you could use them the wrong way. Most people make these mistakes and they don't even know it. But first, we need to fix our mental model. Privacy is not hiding money. It's breaking the link. So imagine wallet A sends money to wallet B. Well, we have this thing called a block explorer where it's a public record on a blockchain of every transaction you've ever done with anybody. That link is permanent, public, traceable, searchable, forever. Okay? It's not financial freedom. It's like a public diary. Now, zkpulse.app works differently. Instead of going from wallet A to wallet B, you're sending from wallet A to a shared pool. Look at this image right here. And later, after you wait a certain amount of time, you take it out of that shared pool and into a fresh wallet. It doesn't hide the money. It separates you and your past from your future. That's all it does. And this distinction is very important because you don't walk around with your bank statements stapled to your t-shirt. You don't publish your net worth right outside your front door, but you do on blockchain, and most people don't even know. So privacy is normal, but transparency without consenting to it, which most people don't realize that they are, that's not okay. But here's where it gets interesting. You don't hide in darkness. You hide in a crowd. So check out the fixed denominations. Why are there fixed denominations of 1 million, 10 million, 100, and 1 billion? These are different amounts of pulse, and they're standardized because let's say 500 people put in 1 million pulse into this pool, and then somebody else withdraws 1 million pulse out of that pool. Well, statistically, the chance of that person being the same person is 1 in 500 because the pool was 500 people large. Now, it's only as anonymous as it is popular, meaning the more users it has, the more anonymous that pool becomes. Now, this group is called the anonymity set. Sounds complicated. It's just referring to the size of the pool of all the people depositing chunks of 1 million or 10 million, 100, 1 billion. So you don't disappear. You just become indistinguishable. And that means something very powerful. It means that more users means more privacy and a better world for everyone. This is not just for whales. This is for everybody. It's infrastructure. And that's why you've got anonymity sets of 1 million, which is about $10 today, and 1 billion, which is about $10,000. All sizes of people. So your privacy improves when your neighbor starts using it. And this is why the fear around privacy tools that you might be having is so dangerous. Because fear makes people not want to join into anonymity sets. And that brings us to the first mistake that people make. All right, the first mistake is that people are their own worst enemy. It's actually not the government, not hackers, not social engineering. It's you. You are your own worst enemy. So when you deposit into this pool, you get what's called a ZK note. And I'll show you what it looks like. This is on Tornado Cash. All right. ZK Pulse, by the way, it's a fork of Tornado Cash. This is your note that you're going to get when you deposit into a pool. And most people just lose it. Or they screenshot it to iCloud. Their iCloud gets hacked. It's kind of like your private keys, all right? If you want your money back in the future, when you get your private note, it's going to look something like this. You copy it and you paste it in a text file that's offline. The second mistake people make is reusing wallets. So here's an example of the chain analysis of people using Railgun, which is a privacy software. Look at this guy who withdrew 0.75 each. Okay, if we trace this back and we follow this wallet back and we see somebody 15 hours ago that deposited 0.75 ETH and then he withdraws the same amount of 0.75 ETH, well, because of the timing and the amount, it's called timing analysis, this guy's probably the same person. Okay, so if you deposit a specific number of ETH and you don't wait that long of a period of time and then you withdraw that same amount of ETH to a fresh wallet, you basically just relinked yourself to on-chain sleuths. So that's the second mistake, is timing and amount. You got to make them different, and you got to be patient for this to work. And the third mistake is just reusing wallets. What's the point of all this if you don't take your pulse out and put it back into a fresh wallet? If you just circle back and give your pulse to the same wallet that you used to deposit, well, you just relinked yourself. So blockchains are probabilistic, okay? People use tools like this. This is Arkham, and they do all kinds of in-depth analysis. This is a clustering diagram. It's just an example of what people do that either have no life or that are really trying to do something bad by tracking somebody. And it's also how the good guys catch the occasional scammer. But assuming that most people aren't actually bad guys and just want a more safe and secure life, you got to know your OPSEC. You got to know the tools that are available to other people. But how do you do all this? I'm going to show you exactly step by step in a minute. It's very simple. But first, let me just crush some objections. Isn't this illegal? No, it's not. Code is not illegal. Using software is not illegal. zkpulse is a fork of Tornado Cash, and you can actually verify on the GitHub, which I highly recommend doing. You can verify the code yourself because the developer was nice enough to make it a point to get you to do this. You can verify the code right here. There is no operator, there's no custodian, there's no middleman. It's just you and the software. And this is not a mixer. Okay, mixers imply custody, like somebody else is doing the mixing. This is just you depositing into a pool and withdrawing it at a later time. It's very simple. This is simply infrastructure. And so the disturbing reality is that when governments go after people that just develop code and infrastructure, they're not actually fighting crime. They just want more and more control. They don't want you to have self-sovereignty and privacy. It's like saying locks on doors are only for criminals, okay? Everyone's got a lock on their door because it's a low-cost way to stay safe. It's like saying having curtains is only for criminals. It's like saying bank vaults are only for criminals. Privacy itself is morally neutral. It's a human right. Just wait till wrench attacks increase, all right? Just Google France crypto attack. Look at this article. Another day, another crypto wrench attack in France. Fucking France, right? This refers to people that are being identified, such as a Binance employee who was hunted down in a botched home invasion. And this is happening more and more often every day, especially for public people. So look at all these articles. Privacy is not about crime. It's about safety for you. And this is where most people finally wake up. Because who benefits most from destroying your privacy? Who benefits the most? I'm not going to say the word. Look at the screen. I'm not going to say it. I think you guys can figure it out. Analytics companies, surveillance firms, institutions, governments, they're all in cahoots together anyway. We know this, okay? You don't benefit from, but who benefits from large anonymity sets and lots of people knowing and using about privacy? The people do. If millions of people separate their transactions from their identity, financial autonomy increases. The world gets better. You don't have to ask permission. But if you're afraid, then the anonymity sets are going to stay small. And if somebody tries to say, oh, there's some exit liquidity angle here, look, this isn't about pumping a token. Now, does zkPulse have a token? Yeah, they got a buy and burn token. I don't own any, but the fees generated go to buying and burning a coin. Hey, maybe that financially incentivizes more people to use this, right? But this video is not a token shill. It's teaching you to wake up from the current narrative that privacy implies criminality. It's just lazy thinking and it's intellectually dishonest. So let's get practical. Here is how you use zkPulse safely. We're going to deposit 1 million Pulse, and we're going to start by connecting our wallet by clicking in the upper right corner. Now we click deposit 1 million Pulse, and it's going to pop up my crypto wallet. I confirm that in my wallet, and let's say this particular crypto address is tied to my identity. Well, I want to make a new crypto address, but first, after the transaction goes through, you want to copy this note to your clipboard, okay? Copy this note to your clipboard, and do not lose it, because this gives you access to get your money back. Now, if you want to make a new wallet, you simply go into your internetmoney.io or your MetaMask, click add account. See this account too? This is a fresh new wallet. This is a new fresh wallet address. It's not tied to my identity, and now I can hop over and now withdraw from that same pool. Now I have to type in the note that I just copied and pasted, and I have to type in the recipient address, which is the one I just showed you I created for the demo. Now using a relayer is actually good for you as well. It increases your anonymity, but it charges an extra fee that goes to the relayer for sending your transaction for you. I like to select this, and there's a 0.5% fee. That's the price you pay for anonymity. Again, that fee goes to pumping a coin. Kind of cool. It's not going to any one individual. Now remember, we're pasting our note right there. We saved our ZK note offline, but the critical part, remember what I just said that most people get wrong, is they don't wait long enough. So if you withdraw as soon as you deposit, that's a dead giveaway that you're linked to the same person. Now, if you're the kind of person that likes chaos, you could just wait until someone else deposits into the anonymity set, withdraw right after them, and make everyone think that you're that guy. Some people just like to watch the world burn, you know what I mean? But generally, if you wait a couple of days, you're going to be breaking the link better. And as I said earlier, as more people use this, it just gets harder and harder. As the pool gets bigger, you get hidden in a bigger crowd. We're going to withdraw it via the relayer, and it's generating a zero-knowledge proof. Now the relay is processing the transaction, and there we go. Successful withdrawal via the relayer. Now let's hop over to my fresh wallet, and we can see here that I now have 999,000 Pulse in my wallet, which is just 1 million minus that tiny fee. So this is a fresh wallet. This is an anonymous wallet, and you are now empowered with this very critical information. So here's the bigger picture. Privacy is not about wrongdoing or being a bad guy. And when you understand that, you stop fighting over narratives and you start protecting yourself. When you do that responsibly and calmly, when you become disciplined with your OPSEC, you become harder to track. You become a sovereign individual. Now that you know how zkPulse works, you know the mistakes not to make, you know to wait a long time. If you're using Railgun, you also know to pull out a different amount than you put in because people can track the amount. You know the mistakes to avoid. You know how to do this safely. The only thing left is onboarding more people and making that anonymity set bigger. It's only as safe as the anonymity set is large. Now go verify the code if you want to. Verify the files during all these methods. Be critical. Read the GitHub as you should. You should be skeptical of all this stuff. Don't just listen to me. Go to the GitHub and try to find a hole in this forked software. Let me help you do some of that research for you. Complete privacy, non-custodial, PulseChain optimized, and deflationary tokenomics. Okay, this is Tornado Cash on PulseChain with the buy and burn token and with a lot of quick verification methods to actually verify the code yourself. You can read the file hashes. You can use the verified tool on the web. You can click verify files right here. And look, all the JavaScript files match the public GitHub repository. So you're not having a man-in-the-middle attack. You're not having a phishing link. Only use the right link, guys. zkpulse.app. It would also be very cool if one of the developers put this up on IPFS as well. It's like the decentralized internet. So congrats. Now you know how to keep yourself safe and how to be self-sovereign. If you found this valuable, like and subscribe. Check out below in the YouTube tray. I've got these metal seed word storage cards that I can mail to you to increase your privacy even more. And as always, share the video with somebody that would care about this, which should be everybody. See you on the next one.